Hello, and welcome to our class. 3 things keeping you stuck, feeling bloated, tired, and run down, and why you need a reset. And so I have you all here today. I hear so many complaints about people feeling bloated and tired, and they're just over it. They've tried everything and they don't know what else to do. And I also offer a seasonal reset. So I thought that this would be the perfect time to tell you why a reset can help you with these things, and also tell you what these 3 things are that you can correct on your own. You don't have to do one of my resets. You can find something that will work better for you to help you get over all of this bloating and fatigue and this general bleh feeling that we get, right? So my goals for this workshop are for you to leave here knowing why you feel bloated, how the liver is related to your health and your hormones, and to know what foods and herbs and activities can help you to feel better. So a little bit about me, for those of you who do not know me, I am the owner of Holistic Farms, and I was diagnosed with an autoimmune illness. And I became a health coach after I started that struggle. And this was years after I had earned a master's in health science. I've always had a passion for health and fitness and food. I am a big foodie. But after I got my master's, I wasn't sure how to cook and take care of my family. Even though I knew all this information, I wasn't sure how to put it into use. I also wasn't sure where to work. How do I help people with this information? Because this was back in the 90s. Everyone either worked in a hospital or a gym, and that just wasn't quite right for me. In 2007, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune illness, and I was completely shocked because at that time I had already gone to culinary arts school. I was eating healthy according to what I had learned in the past. I was taking nutrition courses. I had been taking nutrition classes for 10 years since I finished my master's. I've always continued to take more and more nutrition and food classes because that is my passion. And so I was like, how did this happen to me? I didn't even know what this meant. The only autoimmune illness I had heard of was AIDS. And so it really scared me. And the doctors told me I had to either have surgery or radiation. I said, no, I'm not going to do this. And all I could think was, I haven't been living out my purpose. And I told my husband, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I was teaching middle school math at the time. That is not what God put me on this earth to do. So we quit our jobs, we bought a farm, and now we grow foods organically. And we teach people about healthy food, healthy environments, and how to take care of you and your health and put that back into your hands. You are able to manage your own health and advocate for yourself to take care of you. So I am now a nationally board certified health educator, and I help people with their food. I also am a master herbalist and help people with using herbs and things like that too. So that's enough about me. So before we go any further, I have to read my medical disclaimer. The information in this presentation is not intended to replace a one-on-one relationship with a qualified healthcare professional and is not intended as medical advice. It is intended as a sharing of knowledge and information from the research and experience of Jennifer Whitmire, Holistic Jen, holisticfarms.com, and the experts who have contributed. We encourage you to make your own healthcare decisions based upon your own research and in partnership with a qualified healthcare professional. So all of the information that you hear today, none of it is a diagnosis. None of it means you have this or you must do that. I mean, it's just information for you to use when you are discussing your health with your doctor. And it also is hopefully going to spark your interest into looking into more information. You're only hearing from me today. I am only one person. And while I do consider myself an expert in many of these areas, I am still only one person. And just like you, I get confused when I read articles from one person and it goes completely against what someone else says. And so then I go in and I dig in and do some more research to see, who is telling the truth here. The problem is truth to one person is not truth to another person. It just depends on what we're reading and where we're going. And so really finding out where those people are getting their information and digging a little bit deeper. We shouldn't have to dig that deep to find out the truth to take care of our health. So hopefully I am going to help you put some things into perspective and find what is going to sit right with you. So here we are in fall. It is very cold today. I wasn't planning on wearing a sweatshirt, but I've been drinking lots of hot teas today. I got out of bed and immediately put on pants because it is really cold and I don't like cold. I do like sweaters and I like being all warm and cozy by a fire and drinking warm drinks and eating warm soups, but I'm definitely a spring and summertime person. So even though I like these warm, comforting foods and drinks, a lot of times they are full of sugar and heavy cream and other things that aren't really good for us. And when we finish eating them, maybe we don't feel so good. And so I want to help you find things that can be comforting and still be healthy. So we have this conflict that's going on because we do want this comfort food without feeling weighed down. So many of you have told me that you're excited to learn about how you can get unstuck. You're stuck with this bloating and fatigue, and how you can eat and move so that you feel great and don't feel like you're missing out on foods. A lot of times when we start eating healthier and our friends and family are not, we feel left out. And so today we're going to be talking about the liver, because the liver can control a lot of how you feel and what you're eating and using as far as teas and herbs and things like that, how they can affect your liver, which affects your health and even your bloating. Here we go. So did you know that health of your liver has a lot to do with your hormone balance, your energy level, and your nutrition status overall? So I really want to share with you this information on cleansing and detoxing, because if you've tried a bunch of things like I have and you still haven't found the right thing for you, we need some clarity here. So first, let's look at how the liver works. So the liver's job is to protect the body. Can't even read my slides. It filters and sorts nutrients and toxins and hormones and waste products. It creates bile, which helps you to digest fats. It makes toxins like medicines and chemicals safe to go through the digestive tract. It stores energy and it sends all your waste products to the appropriate next station. So we eat foods, they go down into the digestive tract, they are absorbed back in and they're carried into the bloodstream, which goes to the liver to clean them up. That extracts things that it needs to create different things. It will put some proteins together. It will create some different vitamins for us. It will also deactivate any toxins. It'll see different toxins and go, hey, we don't want this to injure anything. So it will cover it and treat it to move on so that it can go to the kidneys or into the colon without causing any injuries. And then it throws it back into the digestive tract to be removed, whatever parts need to be removed. So I have a little secret that I need to reveal before I can dive into our 3 things. Until recently, I never really believed in detoxes, especially fasting and juice cleansing. So those of you who've been following me know I have been doing some fasting, mostly juice fast. I don't do water fast or dry fasting. And juice cleansing. I will do 3-day juice cleanses now. So I always knew that we have these organs, we have the kidneys, we have the liver, and their job is to clean things up. And so it didn't make any sense to me that we would need to detox when the liver does those things to us. And I had also heard that when you juice fast, that can be really dangerous to you. And it can, if you don't do it correctly, it can cause blood sugar problems and can even be bad for those of us who have had a autoimmune diagnosis. It depends on your condition. So we all need to know the appropriate way to juice fast for our own safety. But then I started thinking and learning about what is going on in our current environment compared to hundreds and thousands of years ago. And we live in an entirely different environment. Kids today are exposed to chemicals that did not even exist when I was born. So we are constantly breathing, drinking, and eating chemicals without even knowing it these days. There's so many things in our water, even like city water, tap water. Think about all the people who flush chemicals, or even when they go to the bathroom, pass chemicals into the toilet, it's recirculated. Do our city filtration systems filter out all the chemicals that are in those medicines? They do make the water safe for us to drink as far as killing bacteria and viruses, but what about all the medicines that are going into there? So then we are exposed to those, not only in our drinking water, but when we brush our teeth, wash our hands, take a shower, give our baby a bath, we are getting exposed that way. We also are exposed to chemicals that come off of our electronic devices. We hear about EMFs, but what about that smell that you can smell when you turn on an electric device? I know sometimes you can even hear different sounds and smell them. Those are frequencies. You were exposed to so many things that when you think about it, before electricity, people were not exposed to the chemicals that we're breathing and the sounds and smells and things. So all those things they can be quite a burden on our body. Even in our foods, we hear about herbicides and pesticides, chemical sprays. Even on organic farms, they will spray things that are considered safe on the foods. And so sometimes even our organic foods have been sprayed with different things. They're just considered safe. And when you read your packaging, hopefully you read the ingredients on labels, we find a lot of chemicals that are considered safe, but are they when we eat them several times a day in combination with these other exposures? So you can see that our body is being burdened by a bunch of different things, lots of daily exposures. We have car exhaust, fumes. I get stuck behind a stinky bus or a stinky truck all the time, and I hate breathing that in. Glyphosates in our foods. DDT is still showing up. Home, paints, cleaners, and molds. My grandma, she's over 100. She lives in a facility that's been being painted, and she keeps telling me she can't even smell the paint. That's because they have changed it. We used to really smell the paint, making them VOC, removing the VOCs. Foods, processed foods, inflammatory foods, pesticides, our body's processes. So even when we are stressed out, our body creates different chemicals, and some of those are toxic to us. We need to get them moved on out. Even the mitochondria, the process creating energy. When you work out and you work out really hard, you start to get really sore. That's a lactic acid buildup. That acid needs to be removed. This is a toxin that has to get moved out of the body. Yes, it did help you to build muscle. It helps you with your energy, but those waste products need to be moved out. And even in our digestive system, as we're breaking down foods, we create different toxins that need to be moved out as well. So another problem that I had when I had resets or detoxes or whatever was commitment. I was never able to stick to a detox. I would sign up, I would look over whatever was sent to me and go, I don't know how this is supposed to work. When I came back from the School of Natural Healing, after several years of learning about the 3-day juice cleanse and reading about it, I knew blood sugar is a problem. So I knew I didn't want to drink juice that would cause some blood sugar spikes. But the more I learned about chewing your juices, and I learned all the health benefits, the more I wanted to do it. So when I came back, I got my friend to join me and do a 3-day juice cleanse. So it's been a little over a year ago. And it was really great that we had each other, that we could text, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling really crummy. I'm getting really hungry. I really want something to chew. I'm getting really cold, and giving each other advice. How about warming up the juice? How about instead of juicing the carrot, you just chop it up and slightly warm it a little bit so you have something to chew. It's still the carrot. Anyway, we found different ways that we could help each other through the juice cleanse. So I know chewing on a carrot is not the same as a juice. but we worked together to come up with some solutions so that we were not too miserable. Afterwards, we both felt amazing, but we both also said we don't want to do this for a really long time. And so it's finding what's going to work right with you, having someone that you can work together with to get through any of the struggles. And also listening to your body. This is something that I really, really struggle with. I'm terrible at listening to my body. My belly can be so full and bloated, and I can see chocolate cake or a cookie or something, and I eat it anyway, even though I feel miserable. It's like, what? I'm not listening to my body. My youngest child is awesome at this. She'll wake up and go, I really feel like I need peas today, and eat peas for breakfast. Like, what? I'm a pancake and pancake person. I haven't had pancakes in a very long time, but I am the opposite. I would not eat peas for breakfast. Now I probably would, but definitely not when I was a kid. So listening to your body, fasting when you feel like you need to fast. If your belly is too full, you need to give it a break and let everything rest and relax and catch back up. So when I realized that I could detox with food, after fasting, without fasting and juicing, then I knew that I had the right plan for me, because I do not like to juice. I do not like to fast. And so I wanted to find a way that I could detox while still eating foods that would be gentle on my body, not harmful, not cause blood sugar spikes and things like that, not cause any stress. Your detox should not create stress, because that will undo all of the benefits. And so it doesn't take an expert to realize, just listening to my own experience, that there is no one size fits all detox. And so I needed a program that works for me. And so it's important that you find what works for you. So even though I have a 5-day reset that I think is awesome, it might not be the right thing for you. So detoxification is a normal part of the body's processes. Just like your heart beats and your lungs breathe and your stomach breaks down your foods, your body is also working to remove toxins and pollutants and chemicals and waste from your body every single day. Your primary ways your body does this is through your liver, cleansing the blood, your lungs, cleaning chemicals out, your skin, your kidneys, and your bowels. So for me, my skin really tells me when my hormones are out of balance. I used to get these giant, I call them volcanoes on my chin. And I now know that that was from estrogen dominance. It was when my hormones were way out of balance. So your hormones have also processed through your kidneys, through your liver. And if you are not clearing your bowels, if you are not having the daily bowel movements, you should have a nice bowel movement after each large meal. Just like when you feed a baby or you're training a puppy, you give them a large meal and they go to the bathroom. Ours should work the same way. So if we are moving our bowels that way, then we have room for toxins and excess hormones to move out as well. If we're not, then those go back into the digestive tract, back absorbed into your bloodstream and carried back up, and you end up with a buildup of excess hormones. So I got off track there. So there are too many chemicals in the body. We're getting all overwhelmed with all these different things. We are exposed to toxins on a consistent basis. Our bodies are overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed. The toxic chemicals are not getting flushed out and instead are residing in our body's tissues. Our body is trying to protect us from these dangerous chemicals. And so what happens, it starts to stuff them. When the liver detects something that it doesn't recognize, it wraps it up in mucus and stuffs it in your fat to protect you so it won't hurt you. If your liver sees something that it doesn't recognize as some sort of toxin, and it doesn't have a million other things to do at the same time, then it can help to deactivate it and safely remove it. But if that toxin is also being shared with other things that it needs to take care of, it's going to stuff it. It's going to wrap it up and stuff it in fat until it has time to take care of it later. So this is why intermittent fasting is helpful for some people. Water fasting, juice fast, when we're not putting more chemicals in the body, the liver can say, now I can handle those stuffed things. And so when we get into the mistakes, that is one of the things, not allowing a rest so that the body can do that. Now, there are some things that the liver is going to prioritize over others. And in some of us, caffeine is one of those. I'm not sure if I'm one of those people or not. I can't remember. But there are some people, I want to say it's CYP, when it's CYP 450, maybe, I can't remember. One of the genes, when the liver, if you have one of those genes, your liver sees caffeine as a major toxin and it wants to eliminate it first. And so anything else that's coming in the body, it's going to stuff away, and so it can get that caffeine out. So if you're someone who also has estrogen dominance and you are drinking caffeine, coffee, sodas, even some teas that are high in caffeine, your body is going to handle that caffeine, and those hormones can continue to build up and increase. And that's how some people end up with high estrogen cancers. So we want to make sure that if you are one of those people, that you are not adding caffeine to these other chemicals. All right, so I just got off on another tangent there. I didn't mean to do that. So a reset or a detox or a cleanse, whatever you want to call it, can help you to get rid of these hitchhiking toxins, the ones that are being stuffed in there, because it gives your body a break from taking in chemicals and toxins. During that break, your body can move those toxins and dump them out into the digestive tract to be expelled. So like I said, if you are constipated and aren't regular, those toxins are going to get reabsorbed. This is why people get headaches and have detox symptoms when they change their eating habits all at once and they aren't going to the bathroom. So even in my 5-day reset, for the people who are eating a lot of sugar and processed foods, when they go onto the reset, we eliminate a lot of inflammatory foods, all processed foods, added sugar, caffeine. So people go off of those. If they start it like on Sunday, they're eating all of these processed foods and caffeine and sugar. Monday, they're not eating any of them. Tuesday, they're not eating any of them. The body's handling all of these toxins, and then that's when they start to feel bad and have headaches and things like that. So I recommend that people gradually let things go as they approach the 5-day reset. And if you're not eating those things, then you have a lot less of those side effects. After 3 days, the enzymes in the liver build up and help to process everything. So usually after Wednesday, going into Thursday, everyone's feeling better and everyone has a lot more energy. And Friday, everyone's feeling good. We got all of those. We're able to process everything and the body is feeling good. So we also release a lot of things through our sweat. That stinky smell when you sweat sometimes, that is bacteria and waste. Your skin is not the most effective way to remove toxins. Your body would prefer to move things out quickly through the kidneys and the colon, but sometimes we do release things through our sweating. So it's important that we stay hydrated. So through any detox, mine or whatever you choose, you want to make sure that you are drinking half your weight in ounces every day of pure water. So I'm not talking about tea, even herbal teas or coffees or sodas. Water, half your body weight in ounces in water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you need to drink 75 ounces of water. Doing that all at once, if you are only drinking 1 or 2 cups today, and then you try to get 16 ounces, and you try to get 75 ounces today, then you are going to be getting up all night to go to the bathroom. So gradually work your way up, create a plan to gradually increase. If you're drinking 16 ounces today, then let's make a goal of 24 ounces tomorrow and 30 ounces the next day, and gradually work up. Something that helps people is to fill up quart mason jars, however many you're going to need, have them ready for you in your fridge if you like them cold, so that you know how many you need to get through during the day, but gradually work it up so that you're not getting up in the middle of the night. If we don't take time to clean out the system, we're going to continue to be tired, have the belly bloat, experience crazy food cravings, have the 3 p.m. crash, continue with inconsistent digestion, and the weight is going to continue to creep up. And we still will have a closet full of different size clothing. I don't know if you're one of those people. I am guilty of that too. I do have some different size clothing because I haven't been consistent in my detoxing, doing the seasonal detoxes until the last year. If you're dealing with any of these symptoms, then it's time to schedule a cleanse or a detox. So I do them seasonally. I offer them every season, and they change with the foods, which we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's get into the 3 things that are keeping you feeling bloated and tired. So mistake number 1 is not keeping your eyes on your own paper, or as I heard earlier this week, keeping yourself on your own mat. It was in yoga. In yoga, if you look around the room, you can see someone else doing some amazing yoga pose, and you're only doing this child pose. People start thinking, oh, I need to be trying to do that. And that's when you get hurt. So the same thing happens when you're in a detox or a cleanse. You need to make sure that you are doing what is right for you. What works for somebody else, they don't have your same build up, your same DNA, your same environment, your same childhood, whatever. What works for you may not work for them. You are unique. There's no one size fits all. That doesn't matter what we are talking about. Your medical care, your nutrition, everything is unique to you. And so don't force yourself to do a detox or cleanse just because somebody else is. It could end up being something dangerous for you. So listen to your body, listen to what sits right for you, listen to what is going to be effective for you. If you're new to cleansing your liver, you might think that you have to do something extreme to get good results, but that is definitely not the case. You don't want to do anything sudden. Extreme detoxes can make things worse because it can throw your body into a state of shock, adding stress to your body. The reality is that your body does not care whether or not you fit into your skinny jeans. Your body is focused on one simple thing, and that is keeping you alive. When you jump into an extreme detox without preparing and previous experience, your body experiences that detox as a crisis. And when your body goes into crisis mode, the last thing you want to do is create more work for yourself. So if you are, binging, and then all of a sudden you stop eating for a few days, then you are going to feel awful. That's what this means. And your body is going to feel a lot of stress. It doesn't know what's going on, why we suddenly stopped eating. So you want to make sure that you do something that is not going to be a sudden change. To save you, it will focus on preserving your energy and start to slowing things down, including your metabolism. It will burn fewer calories, and it will stop burning fat so that you will have that to keep you alive, because it thinks, hey, we are going into starvation mode. We need to conserve as much as we can. This is the opposite of what you want to happen. Because if you're not losing fat, you're definitely not releasing any toxins. So follow your instincts, trust your own body, learn to listen to your body. Although detoxing isn't always comfortable, most of us can tell the difference between experiencing a little discomfort because we're releasing toxins and something that is really wrong. If you tried detoxes before where you felt super sick the whole time, or you just knew in your gut that something wasn't right, then you know what I'm talking about. It's okay to say no thank you to something that doesn't sit right for you. In fact, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just not what's right for you and your body. Our bodies are different, and what we need might be different from what our best friend or neighbor needs. If you haven't detoxed before, or if you're struggling to find one that is right for you, I encourage you to try something that's built around lots of detoxifying foods, which I'm going to give you a list in just a minute. Rather than restricting and depriving yourself. So don't think about what you can't eat. No, I can't have the meat, or I can't have the caffeine, or I can't have the cookies or the sugar. You need to nourish your body. These are the kinds of detoxes that are just as effective and can be better for you and easier to stick to, instead of you suddenly going, oh, I feel deprived, and caving. And it keeps your body from going into crisis mode. So mistake number 2 is not eating seasonally. Have you noticed how on January 1st, everyone tries to make this, not everyone, but a lot of people try to make a huge lifestyle change after weeks or months of overindulging. Lots of cookies and cakes and desserts and treats and fancy drinks over the holidays. And then all of a sudden a cold juice cleanse in January. So I know many people are determined to drop the weight they gained over the holidays, but this can be considered extreme and it can set you up for disaster right when you're trying to make some changes. The problem with doing an all juice cleanse in the winter is your body is aware it is winter. On a cellular level, your body's purpose is to keep you healthy and strong enough to make it to the next day. In winter, it wants to keep you safe and warm. When you deprive your body of sufficient calories, fats, and proteins, and it is in winter, that's going to kick you into survival mode. Your body is going to misread what's happening and assume that you are starving. When your system is in starvation mode, your body does everything it can to hang on to every last calorie to keep you from dying. So what does this mean? When you're on a juice cleanse in the cold, dark months, the body will slow down your metabolism and do everything it can to maintain warmth. But, and this is the scary part, when you start eating real food, it takes a while for the body to realize, hey, we're going to keep getting more food. And so you're going to continue to store and hoard those calories until your metabolism begins to speed back up. This is why when people yo-yo diet, they always gain a little bit more than before. And so they lose some weight, and then they gain it back with a little bit more. And then they lose weight again, and then they gain it back with a little bit more, and they end up getting bigger and bigger and bigger every time they cycle, because that metabolism, when they restrict too many calories for too long, the metabolism downshift stays down even when they add the calories, and then it just starts to trickle back up. But then they go on another diet because they're going, oh, I'm gaining weight again, and they cut calories, the metabolism slows back down again, they eat, and then it takes a while for it to speed back up, and then it'll speed back up. They end up gaining weight. And so it cycles over and over again. Off track again. So what to do instead? So green juices and smoothies are a powerful tool when it comes to detoxing. Also an amazing way to get in lots of nutrients. So I especially love them in the spring and the summer. And I do like to find ways to include juices and smoothies in the winter, but I incorporate them with other things. There's even warm smoothies. There's just other ways to get these in without them being really cold. We don't want anything too cold for the body in the fall and the winter. So when you're looking for what is right for you, be sure to look for something that is going to fit the season that you are in. So not only your age, where your body is, but also as far as the foods and how they are prepared. Don't do anything that is too drastic that when you finish, you're deprived and you completely overindulge. I've had people do that at the end of the reset. They celebrate by going out for pizza and beer, or some have gone out and had ice cream sundaes. Ooh, I made it through. And then they end up feeling horrible the next day. So you want to make sure you find something that is going to work for you for the long run. So this is a good time for me to go a little bit deeper into my 5-day reset. This is why I include this into my coaching practice. These are great for people who have never detoxed before, and for people who have noticed that they have a hard time sticking to something that is extreme. So if that sounds like you, you are in the right place. So I wanted to share with you how you can join me for the 5-day fall reset. It begins on October the 17th. If you want to find out more about that, I will post the link in the comments, and you'll find out more information there. It describes the program. There's even some testimonials and more information about what's included. Now, I also have a 10-week program that is a deep dive detox. You can actually set it up to work what's best for you. That is offered in January and in July. And so it's still a ways off, but if that's something that you are looking for, then go ahead and start touching base with me and letting me know that that is something you're interested in. And that is more for a long-term lifestyle change and not just cleaning up your habits. The people who just finished, this is the last week, this is their last day. They have all created brand new habits and are feeling amazing. So there are many things that make my 5-day reset so successful, but I want to run through a few of them with you now before we get back to mistake number 3. So there is loads of support in my groups. You won't ever feel like you're alone. You'll never be left wondering what you should be doing. The protocols I created are doable and reasonable, and you can even do this while you are working. You don't have to worry about taking time off work. Some people do like to start on Saturday just in case they have detox symptoms, if they know that they have not been eating healthy and they're thinking it's going to be a big change for them. Most people just start tapering off. They use the weekend to reduce the sugar and the caffeine before they start on Monday. So it used to drive me nuts when I'd sign up for a detox, only to realize that I had to do a ton of work to figure out what I was supposed to eat. I've taken the work out of that for you by creating 2 5-day meal plans with recipes and a handbook that will tell you exactly what to eat and when to eat, if that's what you want to follow. In fact, you'll find that many of the recipes are so delicious that you'll eat them after the reset. I just met with a client who told me she is still 1 year later eating some of the breakfast meals regularly. And because I don't want you to feel deprived or like you're suffering, I don't want anyone to go hungry, I've included yummy recipes for snacks and sweet treats. So no matter what kind of cravings you experience, you'll be covered. And we talk about snacks too, because I prefer for you not to have the snacks. But if you're coming from eating 6 meals a day, then that can be difficult. So we talk about how to transition. I've even written shopping lists for you for both meals. And I've given you a blank list so you can create your own if you want to mix and match the recipes. Some people even use their own recipes. They just follow the guidelines and use their own recipes. I'll be giving a live training call on exactly what to expect from the reset and how you can best set yourself up for success. My detoxers or resetters, they love these training calls because I don't hold back and I share as much information as I can to ensure that you have a really effective and powerful detox. This is also a great time for you to ask questions because I leave time at the end to answer any questions that you have at the end. And I've built in extra options so that you can go deeper in your detox. So it can be just eliminating inflammatory foods and increasing anti-inflammatory foods. That helps with your energy and joint pain and your liver detox. But then there's also things that we'll talk about like castor oil packs and adding herbs and herbal teas, and even using some lower bowel formulas to help to clean the colon, to help with your detoxing as well. Those are completely optional, but they are things that some people like to do. Simply by eating the foods I recommend, you're increasing your body's detox power. And a lot of people have told me that my resets are actually really family friendly and that their family enjoys the meals as well. And when you sign up for one of my seasonal resets, everything is done for you. So you won't have to develop your own meal plans or write your own shopping list if that is something that you are looking for. A lot of people I know that they just want to hit print, go to the store, come home and put the things together. You'll get hands-on support from me and your fellow detoxers during the group detox, which begins October 17th. It's 5 days, so October 17th through the 21st. And we'll be able to connect in our Facebook group. So if you're not on Facebook, you won't be participating in the group, but you will still get daily email support, and you can always email me back. A lot of clients choose to do that. Some will just use Messenger on Instagram. And that I want to make sure that I am touching base with you, you're touching base with me, and that you're getting your needs met. It is still a group, so there's no one-on-one. I'm not going to be specific with you, but I do want to be there to support you through this. I'm amazed by the community, the pictures. If you've never done one of my resets before, The pictures are amazing. The group support is amazing. The feedback, people are always supporting each other. Someone will come on, I'm having a rough day. Everyone else gives them emotional support as well. If you're wondering whether the time is right for you to do a detox, I encourage you to consider why now is not the time. Is it really worth it for you to continue to feel tired and bloated? Do you know that something needs to change for you to be your best? If you keep doing the same things, you get the same results. And so you want to make sure that if you don't want to feel like this next month, then maybe this is when you need to go ahead and jump in. The beauty of this reset is the amount of change that can occur in 5 days. I've had clients lose anywhere from 2 pounds to 13 pounds in 5 days. Now, a lot of times that is a lot of water weight, but they also are learning some new techniques that they can use and continue to gradually lose some weight. Everyone walks away with more energy. Most have clearer thinking and clearer skin, and they are sleeping better. Did you know that a detox can also help you sleep better? So now is the time to invest in yourself. Just imagine, how would life be different if you felt really great? What could you accomplish and what would change for you? If you know now is the time, I invite you to click on the link in the comments and invest in yourself. It is only $67 until October 7th of 2022 if you're watching the replay. So you can get all of this for only $67. It will go up to $97 on October 7th. So another thing that many people get wrong when detoxing, this really is an extra bonus mistake, it's not one of our 3, is not thinking about how to transition out of the detox. And so I make this easy too. Like I mentioned, the people who go out for burger and fries or beer or DQ Blizzard to celebrate it, they don't feel so good. And so at the end, actually on October 19th, so halfway through the 5 days, I'm going to do another Zoom call to walk through the ways you can add foods back to see which foods are good for you, which foods you need to just keep leaving out of your diet. A lot of people discovered that gluten was definitely not their friend, and they're shocked to realize how much sugar they were eating. And so this can really help you with that too. So I lost where I am in my notes. So a lot of my clients understand that transitioning back into the real world post-detox is the most difficult part. Because they feel so great during those 5 days, they don't want to go backwards. So that's why this call is so important. So let's get back. So mistake number 1 was not keeping your eyes on your own paper. So making sure that you do something that is right for you and your body. You are unique. Mistake number 2 is not eating seasonally. Doing a cold juice cleanse in winter will not work. And mistake number 3 is not looking at the change as being positive. You do not need to punish yourself into health. I used to look at detoxes as something where not only could it be harmful, but it was something where you had to suffer. You had to give up all these different foods and things that you enjoy to make sure you're getting a detox. Women get so caught up in taking care of everyone else that self-care falls by the wayside. And there's a problem with that. When you don't take care of you, you run out of energy to take care of everyone else around you. So think of this as being something positive. We're not going to deprive ourselves. We're going to eat nourishing foods, healthy herbs. We're not going to starve ourselves. We're going to replenish ourselves as we detox and give our own bodies some nourishment and self-care. So what to do instead? Use resets as a time to recharge and renew your body, mind, and soul. So one of the things I recommend for people who do have poor sleep and trouble detoxing, and maybe some side effects from detoxing, is a warm bath at night. And that is another way we can have self-care. A lot of people think of that as self-care, but just taking care of your body can be self-care. My clients have shared with me that they experience transformations in their life that revolve around more than just food. So that's our bath. In fact, many of my reset clients choose to participate in the reset with me every single quarter because they know that this is a week of time focused on themselves, and it helps them to get healthier and get back on track the way they want to eat. They get clarity on how to feel more balance in their life. And they also continue to stay on the reset, leaving some bad habits behind. Just think, if you did a reset 4 times a year, you could just choose one habit each time and relieve those habits. Many leave coffee and dairy for good. We didn't even talk about dairy. One gave up gluten for good, but only after adding it back and realizing that it was hurting them. When they added the gluten back, they got sick, cut it back out, they got better, and they realized, okay, the gluten definitely has to go for good. So the really cool thing about allowing yourself to look at a detox as a way of filling your empty pitcher, filling up those cells, is that when you've been renewed and rejuvenated, your capacity to show up for yourself and others grows exponentially. When you feel great and look great and have outrageous amounts of energy, as my 5-day reset clients tell me they do when they're finished with the detox, they are able to live a higher quality life. So isn't that worth dedicating your 5 days to? So I want you to encourage you to consider joining my reset if what I've said is resonating with you. There is a link in my bio, and I'm also going to have a link in the comments. So what all did this have to do with the liver? I already mentioned that your liver wraps up toxins and stuffs them in your fat when it doesn't know what it is, or it doesn't think it is safe to pass through. When you clean up your diet and are eating less foods with chemicals and things that are inflammatory, you are giving the liver time to examine and work on the chemicals that it has stored. This is why some people feel bad during those first few days, as I mentioned. So dairy, a lot of us don't realize that dairy is not our friend. And you don't know that you are not feeling excellent. How you feel, we feel normal when we remove those foods, and then we start feeling better. Whoa, I had no idea I could feel better. We add those foods back and we start feeling bad. Then we realize, whoa, what was normal to me actually was inflammatory. And so any food that is inflammatory to you is going to slow everything down in the liver. So by eliminating all potentially, well, not all, but most potentially inflammatory foods, we're giving the liver a break so that it can start to release some things. So how do you know if you need to do this? Basically, if you live on the earth, you're going to need to detox at some point, whether that's once a year, twice a year, or seasonally. Here are some signs that you need to detox. You have belly fat, belly bloat, indigestion, upset tummy, diarrhea, constipation, irregular bowel movements. I sound like a medical commercial here. Poor sleep quality, lack of energy, PMS. This is a sign of toxicity. It is not normal to have PMS. It is not normal to have hot flashes. No matter how much pain relief commercials tell you, or other medicine commercials tell you, those are not normal. If your skin is breaking out, if you're feeling tired, lots of fatigue, we all believe that we're supposed to experience some of these symptoms, and a lot of people consider them as normal, but that's not true. Our bodies can be well-oiled machines and can operate at optimal capacity if we just let them. So if you have any of those symptoms, then you definitely need to find something that will work for you. So why do we repeat? You won't clean everything out in 5 days. And we live in the real world, and we are constantly being exposed to more things that the liver needs to process. Even if we did get everything cleaned out like brand new, we're still exposed to dirty air, water, chemicals. You're still going to have things coming off your countertops, out the flooring, your carpeting, even in your clothing, your detergents. There is just, in the world we're living in, there's no way we can completely eliminate everything. So even when we finish the reset, we're still going to be exposed to more chemicals. And in 5 days, we weren't able to get everything out of the body that was in there. because we're not only talking about food, even this sounds woo-woo, but we store emotions in our body too. Our emotions are stored in our cells. And so a lot of times people will get to day 3 and they'll say, is it normal to feel like crying? Yes, you are detoxing, you're releasing something. And so there's just a lot of things that we have stored. You know, how old are you? Like, I'm 50 years old. I have 50 years of emotions and chemicals and all sorts of things in my body that need to come out, and they're not going to come out in just 5 days. So how do I detox? This is a loaded question. Number 1, you just have to stop adding harmful things. So learning, reading, research, using apps like the Think Dirty app. I love that app, to examine your personal care products. Your skin is an organ. It has pores. You put lotion on, it goes into your skin. Your body is eating what you're putting on your skin. It does that to everything you're putting on your skin. I just went to an event Saturday where they stamped my arm with red ink, and that didn't come off right away. It went into my skin. It stayed there for several hours. I absorbed those chemicals. And so we don't think about all of those things, but if there's anything you can do to eliminate the things that are going into you, do that. Like, don't cook in plastic. Don't use plasticware when you're cooking your foods. Don't microwave anything in plastic. Just doing simple things like that. Stop adding the harmful things. Change what you can. Clean up your environment, whatever that means for you. So that is something you can do regularly. In your home, on your body, in your lungs, in your mind, harmful foods, personal care products, fumes and smelly products. If you are smelling it, there's no filter between here and your brain. Those chemicals are going to your brain. Stop. Any way you can, stand. You're putting gas in your car, stand where you're not breathing in those fumes. There are different things that you can do. Yes, you're going to have to get gas for your car unless you have an electric car, which is a whole nother subject. Stop with toxic thoughts. Do whatever you can to retrain your thoughts so that you're not having toxic thoughts, and work on your relationships. Go for liver loving foods. There's a lot of you took my class, I can't remember, Love Your Liver, which you can find in my YouTube channel. Foods that love your liver are your brassicas, your cruciferous foods. Kale, cabbage, bok choy, radishes, Brussels sprouts, turnips, radish, horseradish, mustards, collards, all of these dark leafy greens. Cauliflower isn't on here. It's not a dark leafy green. Radishes, the greens and the white bulb, the turnips, the white bulb and the greens, all of those are fabulous for your liver. Citrus foods, avocado. Avocado contains some glutathione, which is an antioxidant for the liver. So it even helps to repair the cells of your liver. Onions and garlic. You hear about those all of the time. You want to eat them raw when you can. So if you can chop some garlic and put it in a salad dressing, slice some green onions and put it on something, those are going to be wonderful for you. Sea vegetables. If you can, I like to add dulse flakes to my salads. It just adds a little bit of saltiness, very high in minerals, wonderful for your liver. The dark leafy greens, beets. Grapefruit, I don't know why I have that separate from citrus. Sprouts and greens, broccoli sprouts. Just think about one tiny broccoli sprout is a whole broccoli plant, or whole broccoli plant. So eat a handful of those, or even just a tablespoon of those, and think about how many broccolis you're eating. It's very high in sulforaphane, which is fabulous for your liver. And your bitter greens, which helps your body to release bile. So it's wonderful for the liver and the gallbladder. So anytime you can have some bitter foods. Here in the US, we don't eat a lot of bitter foods, but if you can find some that you like, that is fabulous for you. Some herbs: dill, caraway, turmeric, basil, cardamom, cayenne. These you probably have somewhere in your spice cabinet. Chlorella, that is a green algae. That is easy to put into green smoothies, very high in minerals. Cilantro helps with metals, removing metals and radiation. Peppermint is very high in vitamin C, dandelion specific for the liver. Fennel helps with digestion. Rosemary, very high in antioxidants. Milk thistle helps with the liver repair. Burdock is wonderful for cleaning up the burdock root. cleaning up your blood. It is a vegetable in most other countries. You can find it in Asian markets, or you can just order it dried, but it is a wonderful cleanser, and echinacea is wonderful for your whole immune system. So every day you can do things to help your body with detox. Let me check my notes. I haven't been looking at my notes. Okay, so staying hydrated, half your body in water, water, water. Put in cleansing foods and needed nutrients that you need for your detox, the cruciferous vegetables, citrus foods, and things like that. Consume foods that aid the body in removing the toxins. So in the cleansing foods, you also want high mineral foods, which are your dark leafy greens and your sea vegetables, especially. Improve your body's detoxification pathways. That's making sure that you are having several bowel movements a day. 2 to 3 would be optimal. And working on that in castor oil packs, Epsom salt baths, dry skin brushing, oil pulling, saunas, and tongue cleansers. Those can also be something you could incorporate into your day to help. So is this safe? So when you are choosing a program, there are tons out there. There are some that are free, there are some that are paid, there's some that are inexpensive, there's some that are really expensive. So find which ones sit right with you, do some research. And if you want, if you are thinking, I want to try this, do some research and make sure it's going to be safe and something that you can easily do. How difficult is it to follow? Are you going to be able to stick to it? Is it supervised? Do you get support? And is there a protocol to follow? In mine, I am in the group every day. Like I said, I do a Zoom before we start to go over the protocol. I do a Zoom halfway through to do another Q&A. I answer questions every day in the Facebook group. And for those of you who are not on Facebook, then we do work out a system to help you with that too. You won't get the group support, but I am there. So number one is your health and making sure that you are taking care of you. Make sure that it's something gentle. You're not making too many changes at one time, nothing that is drastic. Make sure that you are including real whole foods. Choose a program that you can follow safely and that incorporates things for long-term health, and get some support. So would you like help from me? So I do work with clients one-on-one, and so that is also another option. And one of the perks that the people get that work with me one-on-one is they get to participate in the reset during their program time. And so they get the one-on-one support as well as going through the reset. Or join the group reset that is in the group. And if you want more support when it ends, then that is also an option. After the 5-day reset, you feel like, oh, I need a little bit more support and want to continue, then you can always do that as well. So in the reset, you get lots of support, the Zoom call to go over the protocols. You get the meal plans, there's 2. Shopping lists, there's 2, plus the blank one. Loads of recipes, daily emails, group support, and daily posts in the Facebook group. It is $97, but it is going to be $67 until October 7th, 2022. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have further questions, please feel free to DM me or email me at jennifer@holisticfarms.com. If you want to find out more detox details, go ahead and click on the link in the comments. It's also in my bio. And you'll see that I've got a lot of information there. And I hope to see everyone in the reset, which starts, actually our first call is October 12th, but we officially start on October 17th. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful fall weekend.